anytime I look at you, turn me up, oh. Yeah, you taking me up.
You asked for more live and relevant talk shows, and we heard you. 88.5 Soufriere FM presents House Guest, a brand new, fresh fortnightly feature airing on Wednesdays at 10 a.m. House Guest will showcase a cadre of professionals from doctors and entrepreneurs to the next door friendly neighbor. So tune in as we network the community with a platform for open, frank, and informative discussion. Only on Soufriere FM, your community radio station.
88.5 Soufriere FM. It's now 10 minutes after the hour of 10 a.m. in Soufriere Solution, of course, the Eastern Caribbean. Good morning, good morning, good morning to you. It's a beautiful Wednesday, and of course, I'm excited to be here in studio with my favorite friend, the principal of the Soufriere Primary School, Miss Cecilia Haynes. With us is a new face, of course, Ms. Shanta Maxime, president of the Parent Teacher Community Association. How exciting I am to have both of you guys here. Officially, Happy New Year to both of you. I'm wishing you love, joy, peace, and endless blessings.
Thank you. Thank you.
First and foremost, I overheard a little conversation this morning. Let's speak of the term. What is expected of students in terms of discipline?
Well, oh my God. Well, when it comes to discipline at schools, you expect students to always be models of exemplary behavior where they respect colleagues, they respect those persons in authority at the school. And I think these are measures or expectations that are featured across all schools on island. So it's not just Soufriere Primary. Pretty much every school, when it pertains to discipline, these would be the main the main concerns that schools would have. And under these behaviors, students would be probably admonished when they fail and praised when they excel in it. So discipline in school, it continues to be a little concern for us. And I don't think it's just for primary school. You have a tough time getting children to always adhere to rules. Okay. And students need to realize that when you come to school has a set of rules. Okay. School does not advocate fights, quarrels, or these kind of little situations. As much as possible, we encourage our students to be peacemakers. And students who get themselves into those situations where they're veering away from being peacemakers, they will be chastised. Sadly, in the days of old, they were even given a few strokes. But these days, we literally just have to use speech and communication to do any kind of admonishment or any kind of punishment.
And here I am to say, to date, we've seen that those measures are not necessarily even effective in the children's life as well. And when we have to deal with the parents who are even difficult or more difficult than the kids, I say, it's like you're dealing with two children.
Yes. It does not always, for some students, it works because, I mean, there are students at Soufriere Primary School, just the idea that they have to be sent to the office, that's enough. They're crying. I had a situation last year, just a threat of you might be suspended, and some of them were in tears. Okay, some of them were in tears. So for some children, hearing certain things will help to change behavior. But for some students, miss, you can speak from now until doomsday, they will continue to do the same thing. And these are the students we really need to be concerned about, because it means that your measures of handling behavior, of disciplining, is really not reaching them. And I'll be honest with you, sometimes even when you involve parents, in some situations you get that sense of hopelessness coming to you from the parents themselves. They will tell you, miss, sometimes I've had parents who say, miss, he does the same thing home, she does the same thing home. Now to you that might be a little comforting, because sometimes you think like probably children are rebelling against you. But when you realize that the same things are happening at home, It almost gives you a little sense of comfort, but I may want to say that's false security because that really does not help to change the behavior.
Correct. Let me extend the courtesies to the president. Your plate might be very full, as you have seen. What do you think you can do? What expertise can you lend to those various situations or even scenarios?
Well, I think it starts in the home. I think the bulk of the responsibility is that of the parents. I think it's unfair and it's inhumane to leave the bulk of the responsibility on the parents. I think on the teachers, sorry. As parents, we have a responsibility to our children. We're molding the future generation. So to me, that should drive home the fact that we are responsible for the next generation. We are responsible for bringing the next leaders into this world, and we have to do our part to help the teachers. We cannot leave it up to the teachers. The parent teacher association, the parent teacher community association, will do their part. We will do as best as we can to educate the parents, as much as we can, on conflict resolution, behavioral science, behavioral management. But again, the responsibility is that of the parents. We can mentor, but unless the parents realize the gravity of the situation that we're dealing with, what we're faced with, then everything we're doing is, like Miss Hin said, hopeless.
I agree with that as well. You spoke of mentorship. I think it's really needed in our community, especially with the parents as well, because a lot of the times we tend to give the children full permission that everything is okay and all is well. And it is not the case. It's just a false hope and a false sense of reality that we're giving to them. I think we should be able to get into that position. So if you are wrong, you should suffer the consequences.
And that's why I say it starts at home, because, like Miss Ains rightly said, when you deal with the parents, the responses that you get from them, it almost tells you that there's no structure, there's no discipline enforced in the home. And if there isn't discipline enforced in the home, then how can you expect to enforce it in the schools? Because they're coming almost as a blank canvas to the school, and the school has to deal with all the issues. And then the teachers are burnt out, and then we blame the teachers, which is unfair.
Um, we're all parents, and the comparisons, what we saw back then in our times to now, a lot has changed. I see a smile in Miss Clovis's face. I'm sure she's wanting to share something.
Well,
Culturally,
sometimes, Miss, I listen to that statement. There are days when I agree with it. There are days, I think, when if we reflect, we may even want to say that when it comes to children, not much has changed where behaviors are concerned. However, I think what has really changed is the level of reverence that community had for schools. So you see, back then, pretty much the community rallied behind the teachers. Okay, but nowadays you have a paradigm shift where you don't have that anymore. And you find it becoming more difficult to convince parents to see things your way. Okay, for example, a simple example, we speak conflict resolution at schools. Schools, before we even bring in parents, we resolve conflicts amicably. So one of the things we teach children is that to make reports, okay? To make reports, and after that, is going to be investigated. So things are not just dealt with washi, pashi, haphazardly. Okay? So, but you find children, miss, they don't believe in that process. Okay? And sometimes the reasons for that is that my mommy say, my daddy say. Okay? So children love to act as their own judge and jury, oftentimes. Okay? And sometimes I try to tell them, are you more right than him? Are you more wrong than him? And sometimes I think I am trying to show my boys and girls that retaliating does not always work as the best means of solving the problem. Okay? Sometimes, miss, the children come to me, miss, he so and so pushed me, so and so did this. And do you know, in situations, miss, genuine situations, so and so has no idea that that took place now. And if so and so knew, so and so would apologize. Okay, so and so would apologize, and then that situation would come to an end. I've had children, you have 240 students running around at lunchtime. You're going to bump into somebody. The children may not even know that they bumped into you, but it becomes like you turn around, you hit, you lash back, and fights begin. So sometimes I think our children, they're quick to retaliate, and parents are not always open to understanding that the situation is not always a mean child in the making. Sometimes genuinely accidents happen, and that we have to be open to it. This morning I encountered a parent. I was really proud of her, okay, because she came and she was really understanding. She was understanding of an event where her child got hurt. And she actually spoke to the other student and told the student, well, so and so, next time, why didn't you, if he did that to you, why didn't you make a report? So there are a few parents who are still like the parents of old, but we have a lot of parents who have departed from the way we used to solve things.
And I'm not sure if that is to be blamed, but then we've seen it's a lot of our youngsters are becoming parents.
Well, that what is it? When you do experimenting and investigating, you say that's a variable. That is a variable that you most likely will want to delve into. So I will agree to Miss. I will agree. I've been teaching for 40 something years, so I'm seeing children of children that I taught. So I will agree that may very well be a good place to start.
Sure.
But I can tell you, Miss, I have in my teaching years, I have encountered young parents who are admirable in the way they raise their children. They go above and beyond and ensure that their children are well mannered, disciplined. They take an integral role in their school life and ensure that their children do well. So you get both. You get those persons who really and truly don't step up, and you encounter individuals who really step up and do their best despite being youthful. Okay.
With that being said, it is now 20 minutes after the hour of 10 a.m. in Surface and Lucia. And of course, the Eastern Korean. Oh my God, how time flies. Interestingly, if you're just joining us here again, a familiar voice, Miss Cecilia Haynes, Soufriere Primary School's principal, and no other but the president of the Parent Teacher Community Association, Miss Chantal Maximin. Let's get to why we're here. Excitedly, the 26th will present itself with a grand gala conferencing and a parents social. I know the parents are excited in coming in to sample the delicacies, if anything else. But interestingly, they should know it would be a night of education, a night of enlightenment for them, especially as we speak with conflict resolution.
Yes.
I would give the president some time more to delve and share with the listening audience.
Well, I was just trying to pull up some info
Okay.
for you. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead,
So
Chantal.
basically, on the 26th of January, we will be hosting the Suffolk City Parent Teacher Community Association will be hosting a gala on conference event where we will be engaging parents and the general community on topics such as conflict resolution. We will have legal topics being discussed as well. We hope to have motivational topics discussed as well with NIC, last will and testament, topics that we feel will be helpful to young people and parents, just to give them general information to help them as they go through the day to day and as they raise their families. So we're expecting that we will have also a guest speaker. We have slated Mr. Zachary Hippolyte as our guest speaker, so he will be giving the featured address, and then we will also have a what you call it, meet and greet, so parents and the general community have an opportunity to mingle and meet one another, speak on different things.
Understanding as well, this is the first of the initiative for 2024. Depends again how. Is it something you are looking to have as an annual activity? Depends how it unfolds.
I think if we will make such a decision after we culminate the first activity. But I wanted to just share with the general public a little about the group. Okay, persons have been asking and inquiring about it. This we are involved in what you call an equip project. Okay, for those of you who have heard equip is attached to Ministry of Education, and it stands for Education Quality Improvement Project. Okay, so they're a branch of Ministry of Education. They do a lot of consultations and engagement of schools, not just schools, but even other institutions in society. So we got on board with Equip in 20, well, not even 20. That project that we were involved in, that project was actually started way big when COVID came.
Oh.
COVID came and the project came to a halt. But with school resuming to face instruction, steps were taken to bring it back on stream. And out of that project, the project focused generally on building school community relationships. So trying to build schools through their community engagement. And one of the requirements of being involved in that Equip project was that each of the schools involved had to establish a PTA. Okay, so it was being piloted in 4 schools. It was Soufriere Primary was the only primary school, ironically. There was Lady Gordon,
Miko
Miku Secondary,
and PI.
and
PI
PI.
Secondary.
So these are the 4 schools involved in that project. As a matter of fact, when we started, I was taken aback because I actually wanted to know why was Soufriere Primary School selected and the only primary school on island. But I think coming out of it, I welcome the initiative to have a PTA. That was one of the areas at Soufriere Primary School where we were always desirous of moving towards. So having that PTA being a big component of the project, I think we welcome it. But what listeners need to know about this PTA is that it's a PTA with a difference. And hence the reason why you will hear the Parent Teacher Community Association. So what the project established is that a movement from the normal PTA. So normally PTA would comprise of parents of students in a school. But our PTA is different under the Equip project. So under the Equip project, your PTA comprises of community stakeholders. The parents are there. Ours, we have other persons who don't necessarily have children at our school, and they're also there. So we have the community branch officer of the St. Lucia, the Royal St. Lucia Police Force, Lyndon Stephen. He serves on our PTCA. We have Donatan Lucien. He has no children at our school. He has children, but not even of school age, and he's also a member of our PTA, our PTCA. We have the principal of the infant school. We have the principal of the special ed school. So a lot of persons, we have persons who are no longer attached to Soufriere Primary, meaning that their children have gone to secondary schools, and they form part of that PTCA. And that's what I like about it, that it is a new thing that we're trying. We're really trying. We're taking it baby steps. So this conference really is our first major activity that we're trying as the PTCA. So if it works, for sure, we could probably make it a staple in our group's activities.
Right.
Here's the marketing strategy, given the fact that you're here, and I'm sure a lot of persons haven't purchased the tickets yet or have no idea where they can get the tickets from. Please let them know the different placements where that can be made available and at what cost.
So the tickets can be purchased from the PTCA committee members. Also, the teachers at the school have the tickets on sale, so you can purchase them from your child's teacher or you can purchase them from the school's office. Yes, Miss?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So primarily the tickets are available at what we did we've reached out to Beam, who's doing some publicizing for us. Also, we appealed to Liberty FM to assist us. And well, thank you to 88.5. We've relied heavily on our teachers and the members of the group. So the principals of all the schools are aware of the initiative. We did tell them that their parents are welcome, because somebody met me and they wanted to know if it's just for Soufriere Primary School. No, the activity is open to any parent. So you are open to come in and listen to a night of information, and afterwards we get a night of socialization for any parent it's a community activity. Okay, of course, I'm hoping that my parents from Soufriere Primary will really turn out and make it a huge success. But we will welcome parents from all the schools who are interested. Your principals, if you are desirous of getting a ticket, your principals just need to contact us. That is not something that's going to be too difficult for us to network.
Could you speak to the time of the event? We always have a problem with punctuality.
All right. So The event is at 6 p.m. next week, Friday. And our reason for that being, we're all working persons. We're all working persons. The president is at work. Many of the persons on the executive are working individuals. Some of them are not even working in Soufriere. So 6 p.m. gives them adequate time to probably get back home and prepare. So we're hoping that persons can come out, and let's be on time because we're bringing speakers who are not necessarily from Soufriere, and these persons would eventually have to journey back to their homes. So the earlier we begin, then it means for sure these persons can get home in a timely fashion.
Which is true. With that being said, it is exactly 10:30 a.m. in Surface and Lucia, and of course the Eastern Caribbean. It has always been a pleasure to have you guys here, informing the public with upcoming activities, and even when it relates to the school, we've seen the challenges. Just before we go off, in terms of financial resources, the parents are not able, and it constantly digs a hole in the pockets of the teachers or even the school. How is there any corrective measures to such? Are there, I know, allocations in terms of the school would have like that special box thingy, where assistance is always rendered. No child can ever be sent off, without their wishes being granted. And this is a plus. I want to say thank you so much to you guys, administrative bodies, as well as the teachers and ancillary staff. Continue doing the good work for sure.
And I just want to say for us at Super Primary School, we encourage parents. I try as much as possible to encourage my parents never to keep children at home because you don't have. Okay, we have school feeding. There's a free lunch component, so you don't have. Send them to me. I'm like, send them to me. I will give. If it's brick, whatever I have, I will help. So honestly, miss, I do not entertain and I do not encourage parents to keep them away for financial constraints. Okay, I know the situation, and if you think it's for parents, for us at school, financial constraint is a big issue because a lot of the activities that we want to undertake, we need additional support. Even for this activity, I can tell you that sponsorship has been really scruffy. Sponsorship has been really scruffy. And miss, I cannot even be too upset because in Soufriere, every school is going to the same
same people.
stakeholder. Everybody's
pool is
going to the
limited.
same, yes, everybody's going to the same corporate sponsor. Look, we're into second term. We have sports, we have independence. So imagine Soufriere Primary has to write for sports, independence, and equip conference. So you can understand persons may choose to go with one or two, or they may very well, depending on their financial strengths, decide not to even support us this year. So that point you made there is a reality that all schools face, okay, and will continue to face.
Oh, even to that, can the school not engage in having fundraisers as well to cushion such a
Well,
burden?
we actually go ahead.
Well, the Parent Teacher Community Association, it is not a fundraising body. It's important that listeners are aware of that. It is not a fundraising body, but part of our responsibility is to assist the school. So as the year continues, as we progress in our roles, we are looking to engage in activities that can generate funds for the school and its business.
Okay. Throwing you under the bus a little in terms of challenges, can you speak to me? There are always challenges. It's best, the best thing is how we navigate.
To be honest, so far there haven't been many challenges navigating the Parent Teacher Community Association. I feel that we're a body that supports each other. We have Miss Haynes for guidance and support, so we count on her for a lot. But to say that we've had challenges, I would not use the word challenges. We navigate what we're faced with, and we collaborate well, so that works in our favor.
What do you envision for 2024? What are the prospects?
Well, as Miss Haynes said, this is our first activity. This is our premier activity. So once we've done the postmortem of what happens next week, then we'll be in a better position to make more plans based on what we learned, what we did well, what we could do better. So once the activity is off the ground and we do the postmortem, then we're in a better position to speak on future plans.
Definitely. And not forgetting our mantra from our very good friend, um, I would like you to leave us with a wonderful quote, an inspiration and encouraging quote.
From me. Let me see which one. Which one can I come up? I have
The
so
best
many.
suited.
I have so many. Well, this year, when I started my new school year, I shared with my students. I wanted them to adopt perseverance as their mantra for this school year, and I shared with them at the opening assembly that with perseverance, success will follow. And I would love to leave that even with the equipped PTCA. I think we've had our little struggles. One of the areas I would like to see more improvement where the group is concerned is meetings, responsibility to meetings. Okay, but you see, at the same time, I'm almost understanding of that because this PTCA comprises of individuals from all facets of life and work. And it means that for some of us, coming together on set days is not always possible. But I believe that if we persevere, we will reach our desired outcomes and we will see some kind of success in the community. It is a catalyst for change in Soufriere. It is a new way of looking at a PTA. Okay, so I want to make an appeal at this time. If you are seated out there and you think you can bring something to the table, do not just sit there. Feel free to come and have a chat with us and join us. Okay, it is not just restricted to a certain few individuals. We welcome the ideas of other persons. We welcome other persons from the community. We'd love to see us get to a point where we have more community engagement, more stakeholders coming to sit around the table with us so that we can come up with more activities like that where we can reach parents on the whole. Not Soufriere Primary School parents, but parents of District 8, parents of Soufriere. And the hope is that, Miss, you will have a ripple effect. And if you can have a ripple effect, maybe other communities can learn from what we're trying to do
Exactly.
and adopt a similar approach. But I think it's a worthwhile one. It requires a certain measure of commitment, which I am coming to grapple with, having to juggle too many hats. But I'm the kind of person who tries, and I try to do my best at the end of it all.
You always deliver. You do your utmost best. And I'm happy the president spoke about support. I have been to the school and I've seen a strong support system. And you remember the statement I made and stuff. And I'm saying, if everyone can adopt that very same, the community would be a much better place.
And I think we need the community to be a better place for our students. We need to get our students to appointments where they are loving, they are respectful of each other, they are each other's keeper, they are peacemakers. Because you see, we live in a world and in our little tiny dot that's called St. Lucia, too many things are happening. And if we don't put an end to it, the children is where we have to start.
Exactly.
If we do not start with our students, our little boys and girls from infant, preschool, primary, we run the risk of what we're seeing continuing to happen in the future. And I think all of us need to come on board to see community needs to rally more behind schools. Okay, the community needs to come on board with schools. Parents need to, when you see them doing something wrong, stop them. Okay, I applaud parents. You have parents, they actually call us. I had a situation recently where a parent came, Miss, we need a twati boy. I welcome that. So maybe I can talk to my boys to see, or I will have to find a way to see how I can get my boys to stop some of the negative behaviors they display out there. Okay, so, and that happens a lot. Like people will stop being Miss. You have a little girl, when they're going home, you have some little girls, Miss, when they're going home, they're loud, they're rambunctious, and it's like they're creating disturbances. So maybe it's happening already, Miss. Probably it's happening already on a small scale that people are becoming concerned about the children and they're sharing it with schools. More of that needs to be done. But it needs to go a little deeper and further. Talking to the children when you encounter them, that can still work and that can still help.
Right, and we're hoping that with the Parent Teacher Community Association, that more awareness will be raised. We will have a deeper influence on the parents who can influence each other and then pass it on to the children. So that in turn helps the school and the community at large.
And I want to put a little plug in as well with this association as well as the school, that we will be filtered with more information that can be disseminated with the public as well as far as education is concerned. And we're trying our best to bridge the gap with the parents and the students.
For sure.
So this is the way to start.
Yeah, for
Also,
sure.
can I maybe just share a little on what I observed yesterday? It was a student from the Soufriere Primary School heading home, and it was almost chaos yesterday. The traffic was heavy, and the poor student was trying to cross, and it was someone on the other side that alerted to say, "No, just wait," and you could have witnessed an accident yesterday. And I'm saying, I don't know what can be done in terms of maybe the traffic. The parents cannot just expect for the kids to, okay, it's an everyday thing where you leave school and you have to come home, but then they need to have some foresight in terms of they just left on their own and the streets are busy and the drivers sometimes are not, so cognizant with what exactly is happening. And then it may not necessarily be their fault, but then that child could have gotten a blow yesterday from what I saw and other persons who were there as well.
Well, we speak to our children about the traffic rules. We teach them the age-old adage of looking left, looking right, looking left again before you cross. But sometimes in the busyness of things, sometimes probably trying to get to some of our children actually need to get to a bus to get home. They may ignore or forget to observe the traffic rules. But it's probably where we can start. I can tell you we do it at Soufriere Primary School because they frequent the bakery, and most times we have to tell them about crossing the pedestrian, about going across the pedestrian crossing. But I think we need to do more than that. Even the drivers need to learn that you must stop. Some of them slow down. You must stop to allow the children to cross the pedestrian. That's how it works. That's how it operates. So sometimes I see drivers, it's almost like they get to a slug pace. But you have to stop, allow them to cross, and then you move. So we've tried to do that kind of sensitization. Okay, that's why having the school feeding program is an A+ for us. So for the most part, our students majority eat at the school, but you still have a few who would like to go and get something across at the bakery. Sometimes when the numbers are large, we ask our security guard to stand next to the bridge so he can keep an eye out. We've done that. Sometimes I do it. And we keep an eye out for them, especially when we don't have lunch and they have to go to the bakery. So we do that.
Okay. Anything else before we end this interesting discussion? How would you like to close, Ms. President?
Well, I'd just like to encourage listeners to support the Parent Teacher Community Association. It is not just for Soufriere Primary School, it is for Soufriere. We are Soufriere, so supporting the Parent Teacher Community Association is in your best interest and in your child's interest. So I would just like to implore everyone to support us. Come out on the 26th, purchase your tickets, come to the gala, see what we have to offer.
I see a smile on Miss Clovis's face.
Okay.
Does that
She
mean-
said gala.
Yes, it's a gala.
Okay, it's a gala. So dress lovely.
nicely,
We put
yes.
elegantly casual because we
Yes.
didn't want to send anybody through any expense. But look at what you have in your closet and put a nice dun as they say.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, because we're going to really do a nice little setup for you. And afterwards, we
have
have
a band.
a bar. We have a band and we have a well-packed bar for you to patronize. Now, let me just speak a little about that. So it's $50 per ticket
only?
okay?
Yes,
And you get
only.
your refreshments, you get a little keepsake bag, okay? But our bar, we chose to put a little bar to do a little fundraising for the group because the group is a new group, and we'd like to get to a point where we can actually go through a registration process and probably put out a handbook out there, a school handbook on behalf of Soufriere Primary. These are some of the discussions we've had on activities that we can undertake. And the reason for having the bar next week Friday is that we're hoping that probably we can do a little sale of some drinks after the conference. So if after you have listened, we don't want you to run away and we still want you to walk with a little extra cash. So you can purchase a little drink and help the group to raise some much needed funds. Okay? All right. So I hope you have your ticket already, Cabrina.
You realize that was an advertisement, no?
Yes, I'm happy. I'm happy. I had every intention of saying that. I had every intention of saying that before I leave today. I wanted to say that. So I want to encourage all parents. Again, let me reiterate, this is not just for parents of Soufriere Primary School. This is a Friday lime. Afterwards, you come, you enjoy yourself, you be merry, You dance, you sit, you chat with friends. That's what we want. Okay, we want it to be informative, which is the first section. That's what is going to happen as you listen to the speakers. You will be learning. And towards after this is completed, we move into, like me said, a greet and meet activity. So you sit around, you dance, you have a good time. Okay? All right. So we have MTX. MTX has willingly
Why are you
agreed to
spoiling the
support
surprise?
us.
Someone should
So they
No, we
know
want
what's
to know
coming.
what
So they know
is-
who's coming and they can
Yes.
come.
Yes.
All right.
So they have something to look forward to.
something good in plan for you. Oh, and we have lovely door prizes. So you
Yes.
never know. We have door prizes available. So please come. You never know. You might leave with a lovely prize. All right.
So no complimentary as part of the equipment.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you're part of the group. You're part of the group, though you've been away from us for a
Okay,
spell.
I'm part of the
So
group.
you'll have to come back into it.
Too
Yes.
much information. I'm part of the group.
All right.
15 minutes moving upward to the hour
Wow.
of 11 a.m. in Surface and Lotion, of course, the Eastern Caribbean. Let me say I'm overwhelmed. Kudos to you guys. Moving forward, I anticipate persons who have not purchased the tickets can do so as of today. The excitement is there, door prices, mix and mingle, and lots of delicacies. And like I said, a time where you can educate yourself as well and even become better parents to the students as well. That you can move from point A when you came in and leave the social practice and get to point Z. It can happen. Baby steps, but it could happen. So let's hope that every parent can take home something from what the lecturer presented and become better role models to our students.
Yeah, we
Yes.
certainly hope so. We certainly hope so. So we're looking forward to a pleasant evening of camaraderie and friendship.
This is where we in-house guest for today, Wednesday, the 17th day of January 2024. It has been a great pleasure accommodating you, Miss Cecilia Haynes, principal of the Soufriere Primary School, along with our new elected president, Miss Chantal Maxime, PTCA. I look forward to mix and mingling with you guys on the 26th.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you so much.
much.
Thanks for having us. Please
always a
continue to
pleasure.
give us some airtime as much as possible.
Yes, please.
Please continue to advertise on our behalf, please.
The please came nice and sweet, and please from a ticket as well. Yeah.
But I've already told you, you're a member of the group. You're a member.
You asked for more live and relevant talk shows, and we heard you. 88.5